Maybe we'll do Frol right after you, Zahid, so that he has time to present his.
I think he can go first, so I don't mind.
All right, Frol, you want to do that then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So just to get this out of the way, hi everybody, and thanks for joining the first BOS community group meeting. Really excited to kick this off. I know there's been a lot of great stuff going on in the community, just people building all sorts of different stuff on BOS, and a lot of stuff going on the back end as well, just in terms of people building new features into the VM and various kinds of developer tools. And it's really exciting to be in a space where things are changing so often and so fundamentally sometimes. So this is kind of one of our DevHub community calls, and this is sort of the format. This is meant to be a fairly open discussion, but we do have an agenda. We're going to let some people do some presentations and then hopefully have a little bit more time for open-ended discussion after that. We will be recording this and then we'll post it to YouTube. And, everyone please introduce yourself in the chat and, chime in with questions, all that sort of thing. It's meant to be here for everybody. So I guess we'll get right into it then. So here's our agenda for today. We're actually going to start with Frol because he has to leave in about 20 minutes. We'll start off with the TypeScript BOS component. And then we'll have Zahid presenting a little bit about Jutsu, and I think Elliot's going to present some of the stuff that people have been doing for BOS hacks. So Frol, do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to pull something up? Or
Yeah, well, I will share my screen.
Okay.
But
make sure you get the. Yeah, exactly.
So while I'm waiting for the screen share, let me introduce myself a little bit. So I joined here very early on, and some of you may or may not saw me on various media under nickname Frol, and currently helping to build out the DevHub community, and also participating in building stuff on my own hack projects. So this is something that I will share today with you guys. This is TypeScript starter for BOS components, but I still cannot share on screen.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. I had
just disabled, I think.
Let's see if I turn this on and it's presenting my screen. So I'm adding you as a co-presenter. Does that let you share your screen?
Not really. Let me try to rejoin.
Okay. I'm just going to change the setting and let anybody share their screen. I probably shouldn't have restricted that in the first place.
Now it works. Okay.
Okay, great.
Here we go. Can you see my screen now?
Yep, we gotcha.
Awesome. So this is the GitHub repo, which you can basically clone and start playing immediately from. So let's just let me walk you through. So basically copy paste this link and we go, let's test it here. Let me clean it up. Git clone and we start. We do to the repo, go to repo, we do regular stuff, just npm install. It's nice and small, by the way, so there's no heavy dependencies over there. You can review always the package.json file to see that there are no dependencies, only dev dependencies here, and mostly are related to linting and types and stuff like that. And you can also review the scripts to understand better what's baked into it. Yeah, so with this, you already have a project which you can go and navigate and check all the components, page, homepage. And this is the most important part, TSX here. So basically, you can use your TSX syntax now. Instead of returning the function or return the component at the top level of your file, you just define a function and export default it and accept the props and the BOS context as your parameters. You can unpack it, do whatever you want, basically, from this point, and everything else just works. And if you go to, where's my VS Code? So in VS Code environment, let me zoom a little bit and show you. So now if I'm mistyping something here, I'm getting nice warnings, and now Typescript is on guard. And if there is something that doesn't exist, again, it helps us. So finally, all the benefits of TypeScript on BOS available right there. And just to show you really quickly what it actually does behind the scenes, you can run npm, here, npm run build command. And when you execute, you would actually see this .bos folder created in your project, and you can always see how it actually translates into JSX code. So this is the default export component that you define turns into this thing called main component, and then a return statement adds to the end of it. Yeah, and after you've done all of that, you can go and do npm run deploy. It will format your code, do some magic behind the scenes, transpiling TSX into JSX files, adding extra transformation there, and then BOS CLI will kick in, and it will notice that there are 3 components that it wants to basically deploy to BOS. You specify which account you want to use, you want to deploy to. So in my case, well, this account probably has like those components already. Let's see, my PCs are a bit slow. And then it asks like what account I will use to sign the transaction to deploy the components. So it automatically suggests the same account as we want to deploy to. It doesn't necessarily needs to be one. Then I just say, well, I want to deploy to mainnet for sure. And then it will ask to sign it. So all the process is interactive. Well, in this case, actually, it detected that all the components are already there and there is no changes needs to be deployed. So let's go and change it to components pages on page. Let's change something here live, and we hit npm run deploy once again. Somehow our PCs are not playing very well today. So it does some, so the CLI checks for existence of the account. That's why it takes a little bit of delay here, and it waits for the server to confirm the account existence, which is nice when it's fast and snappy. So yeah, BOS CLI actually detected the change, and now it will suggest to sign the transaction. And well, I can use any of those options to sign transaction. Let's sign with this one. So it uses old near CLI.js compatible keychain in the home folder. And after it's signed, 1, In order to sign a transaction, you actually need to know the most recent nonce on block from the blockchain. So we again hit the RPC here. So it's not the signing process that takes so long, but actually the just RPC fetching data. Then we submit the transaction. So it's all interactive. You can script it. You can fill out the whole command if you like. It will be printed at the end of the execution. Let's wait for it. And after that is there, you can just keep going, and there is no nothing else you need to do. So you basically just write the code into TypeScript going forward. Important pieces. So there is CI already pre-installed here, so you can see there is already a check mark. So basically, sanity checks for linting, type checking, formatting is already baked in. So if you will clone it into your own repo, you will get all the benefits immediately out of the box. You can find all the details about which pieces are put together there, like this Sacrace library is the heart of it, I would say. It transpiles the TSX syntax to GSX. Nice. And the near social VM types package is also helping to keep types sanity correct. BOS CLI that I just showed, pre-tier, all that stuff. So it's all nice over here. So what we have here, unfortunately, don't get away from RPC. Well, it actually passed through because I received notifications. So the transaction actually was recorded on chain. And this is the command that you can reuse later. You can just call BOS components this command again. And then it will be, oh, well, you need to call it from the relevant portfolio. Anyway, so you can add it to packages on here. BOS deploy, oops, over here, and you will be able to reuse the same deploy command without interactive mode. That's all short and sweet, hopefully. Any questions?
A lot of questions.
Yeah, I have a question. Hello, my name is Andrey. So the question is, right now it's like a local compiler of TypeScript into the JavaScript, and then it deploys to near virtual machine, BOS near virtual machine. But would it support in the future that we can store the TypeScript code directly in SocialDB?
It's totally possible to do. All the tools that I used are browser, are runnable in the browser. So you can bake it into BOS VM or into IDE, online IDE. That's what I already talked with Zahid. I personally believe that we don't necessarily need the TSX as part of the runnable code, but I was imagining that we would just deploy them side by side, next to the component. There would be a separate key with TSX code sitting there.
Yeah, would be great if it would work like this in the future.
So, hey, I'm Zahid. So my question is, great work, first of all. I really wanted TypeScript support. So when you are transpiling, so you are just deploying the transpile code to BOS, and then do you generate can we generate source mapping? So instead of a TypeScript source, we can always convert back to that kind of editor. If I have the source mapping, then I can just bring back.
Yeah, so I didn't invest time into that, but I totally see the value in having that on the side, and just didn't
it can be off-chain, right? So that part.
Yeah, Mhm.
So I think like we should not really push everything on chain, because like there are not maybe not, because TypeScript file can be big, and you can have a file where you can put all these comments and stuff, and then when we transpile to JavaScript, JSX, we can optimize also in the future. So you have two versions, because the gas price, yeah. So I think great work. I want to explore. And
Awesome. Yeah.
one more question. So for the transpilation, I don't need the BOS CLI, right?
No.
Okay.
You don't need. BOS CLI is only used to deploy.
Okay.
Actually, one more thing that I forgot to mention is that there are a lot of there are several tricks done in build.js file. You can see that there is some manipulations with the include folder. And if you go to this component, you can even see there is import that does work. So it actually works in. Oh, sorry, that's transpiled version. This is the original version. So in the TSX file, I can click with comment and on the function, it will navigate me properly to the place, which is great. So it is actually not the proper module support. So it does the build.js inlines the code there. So if we look into transpiled version, this is the code that gets into it. So modules are not first-class citizens yet. They are just like C style includes. That's how they are working right now. But it's already a huge improvement, like in terms of.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really great. Like now we can, at least it's more like in the Jutsu, like we have this folder structure, but it's like a synthetic folder structure. So it's
Exactly
already useful.
Yep. So we already plan to use it for DevHub development, and other teams already started to look into it, Pagoda specifically. So we'll see how that goes. Awesome. I think I took a lot of time from other folks. I want to pass forward.
Great. It's great. No, that was awesome. Thanks so much. Any other questions for Frol, or should we move on? All right. Well, Zahid, do you want to kick it off? Take it away.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. So I don't know how many of you use Jutsu. I cannot see anyone hand or anything, but so this is Jutsu. So basically, it's a web IDE for building and deploying BOS component. Do you see my screen, right?
Yep, we got you.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so now we are experimenting with the design. So if you already used it, so it is same, but design is a little bit different. But the most exciting part is we added a lot of interesting features that I think you might like. So first of all, this live preview. So sometime it is you can update most of you probably know already. So everything is like a live update. But sometimes some of the project when we work, you are doing network crawl and you don't want to pull all the data from every time you want to refresh, then you can switch it off also. So then all of a sudden you can do your work when you are ready, then you get the preview. So that's one. It's it was there, but it's like a new, a little bit improved update. Then we have this another interesting part of like a lot of time. Let's say I'm working on this nearcon website. So if I want to see how it will look like in the phone, so I can immediately view in the phone, on my phone. So it's like that. So, okay, so the preview, I have to, this is live bugs. So then you already, so we have a concept of, let's say this component, if you are working on someone else's component, then you can create a pull request. So when you, let's say you want me to update my component because you are using some part of that component. So now you can create a pull request, and when people create pull requests, that will show up. So here you can see like I have some pull requests that get merged. So that pull request will come to you, and then you will be able to merge that change back to your code, or you can reject it. So in this case, you can see like someone send me this thing, so I can merge or I can delete. The other interesting feature that we just introduced is, so right now you don't see the props and metadata, so because we moved that props and metadata on the top so that it's a little bit cleaner. But if you go to the history, so this is another interesting thing happened. I know that community, a lot of people in the community, they wanted to kind of let's say I make a commit, and then I realize that's something I broke. In GitHub, you can go back and revert back the changes, right? So now you have the opportunity to revert back to any of the previous changes, and that change will be on top of the block. So like now all of us, like you will be able to kind of revert back your changes in the future. What else? And another thing is now you can send us direct feedback. So let's say if you don't like something about Jutsu, or if you have a suggestion you want to give, you can always send us a direct message. So we just have a direct conversation with all the users. What else? We have all the props and metadata, so all are the same. Then another thing is like if you want to check how your preview will look like in a dark mode, so we have so you can see like this app is not optimized for dark theme, so like but you can check those. What else? And then if you want to, when you created something, if you want to test in a different gateway, so like then you can choose to open this component in any of these gateways. So let's see how it will look like. So this is how that component will look like in near.org. If I want to check how it will look like in boss.gg, I don't know if they are managing that thing. No, they don't support styled or something. So at least now you will be able to check your code in against different gateway to see like if that thing works or not. So we will gradually, not all of them are here. So like the things and then a bunch of other are not there, but we will gradually add all of them so that you can easily test those. What else? And then we are gradually creating our learn section. So our learn section are supposed to be more more kind of a you learn by doing. So like each portion of the code have a live code editor where you can see the live update, like preview, and then you can take this snippet of code, and you can, while you are learning, you can change your in the right side, you can change and you can experiment. So the idea is like the learn section will be more learn by doing. So we give you some example, then you have a playground, you can try different things. So yeah. what else I can show you. So we have a live collaboration. So this is meant to be more like a Google Doc style editing. So if I want to start editing with anyone, I don't know who have Jutsu, but like if anyone from this conversation go to this link and then like try it, we can do it in real life. Then if I edit something, I can edit or update this component real time with anyone else. So this can be used for example, when you are onboarding someone, when you are in a hackathon with a team, or when you are giving feedback to someone's code. So this we hope people will use it, this live collaboration, for those kind of purpose. And the other thing, you can have different themes. Some people like light themes, some people like dark themes. So you can update your what is it called, the font size, so all these things. And then here are some information we try to show, like which version of VM we are using. So right now, like we support only one version, latest version of VM. But you can imagine, like in the future, we might have to support multiple VM. So yeah, so this is Jutsu, and go try, explore Jutsu, and give us feedback. That's what we want. Thank you.
Awesome. We have a couple people with raised hands. Did you guys have
What's
questions?
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
So I have a great stuff. Thank you very much. Right now I'm using BOS Loader, and Jutsu looks like a solution for me because I'm trying to make apps for that are responsive and that are works on phones. So I'm using Safari most of the time. And the problem is BOS Loader that it doesn't work with Safari at all because of SSL certificates. So have you tested your app with the WebKit Safari?
We tested in Brave. I don't know, like, are they use different engine? But we can definitely test in Safari. But it should work.
Yeah, and it would be great if in the future your app would support like responsive hosting for mobile. So when you develop in Jutsu, you're hosting and you're connecting with your iOS, and you can test these BOS components directly from the phone. That would be great. That would solve a lot of problems right now that we have with current tools.
One thing you can do, like one of the things we always do in Jutsu is like we are building with community. So like there are people who are requesting different features. So are you in Telegram? Send me a message, DM, with your request, and then we can talk from there. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah, find me in Telegram and send me a message.
Okay, so hope I can talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Saido. Very, very solid work with Jutsu. When I played around with it, and it was amazing. Seriously, not capping. It was really, really amazing. I don't know if you know, I'm Ola, and I manage the BOS community, the Blockchain OS on Twitter as well. What I've had a lot of people ask, especially community members. They are not developers, however. Community members all having ideas. So what I've is Jutsu looking at a drag and drop play whereby any community member that has any idea around their head, they can easily just walk into Jutsu, and see what they can. Perhaps even if it's just a normal responsive website, put it in play with Jutsu, just drag and drop, drag the images or drag the UI they have and just drop it on Jutsu. And yes, so is there anything in plan for that or in play for that? That would really be marvelous to actually do.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and thank you for using it. Yeah, so that's kind of our roadmap. So the next one will be kind of a. I think if you follow us in the Twitter, like we have a demo where we'll generate a lot of those code. So the goal for Jutsu project in the future will be based on what type of app you want to build. If it is a landing page or a DAX or a marketplace, we'll generate 60 to 70% of the code for you, and then you can drag and drop in the future to kind of update the text, update the images. So that's in the pipeline. So like let's say in a month, hopefully, definitely before NearCon, like we will have that feature ready.
That would be solid. Please let us know so we can keep amplifying and keep reviewing and just playing around with the codes and the platform itself.
Yeah, so like I think join the Jutsu Telegram channel. Like if you have a request, like there is a section, feature request section. Maybe I'll drop the link. But there is a feature request section, and we take community requests really seriously because I believe like we want to build with all of you. It's not like so. Little bit background of Jutsu is like I built Jutsu because of I was doing the hackathon and I had that bad experience, and then I wanted to fix it. So I am I'm a developer, so I understand you, and I want to build all the interesting feature that you might need. So make a feature request. So that's what I.
Yeah, that was done yesterday. I already did. Since you were on, I just said let me ask directly. But I dropped it in the Telegram group already.
Perfect.
So looking forward to your updates, man, and I'm looking forward to updates from everybody building on us as well.
Perfect. Happy coding.
Yeah, really awesome stuff. I'm always like super impressed. I remember the first time that I happened upon Jutsu, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is actually out there. This is really, really helpful. So it's been a fantastic tool for me for learning. So just thanks for all the hard work. Anybody else have any last questions?
One more thing is like you can always DM me. So like my DM is open, like in Telegram especially, or Twitter, like whatever place you prefer. Just send me a message.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Zahid. I guess we'll move on to the next thing. Elliot, did you want to show off some stuff?
Sure, I'll share my screen. I don't got a whole lot to show. Been a lot of hackathons going on, so really focusing on that. But I'll give a tour of everything and then some stuff that's in progress in the ecosystem, some open calls for collaboration. So right now, this is everything, probably third or fourth iteration of the homepage of it all. But this is every widget on BOS. You can go through, you can view, you can look at the source, the history, you know, all the regular stuff. And then you can also edit, and it'll open up in Nearpad, but now Jutsu, so it needs to be updated. You can filter by tags in the community or by creator. You can also filter by account or by tag. There's also every type or everything which are built on the ecosystem, because everything kind of is built around these four concepts of things, types, templates, and plugins. Andrey, you were asking earlier about the Typescript component that Vlad had made. I don't know if you're looking for value in types being stored on chain, because that's been kind of like the focus of this project, is that if widgets can be used to be composable to build applications, our types should be composable too, so that we can have interoperability across these applications. You can use everything to browse all this type of stuff. There's also the your own everything, which I would like to see as like personal websites, but in it you can see this helpful little tree which shows you all your data in your social contract. So it's nice to explore everything also has some like special, this gateway has a lot of special things in it. So like there's camera support if you want to build any apps that have camera. There's also a Monaco editor, and there is another thing which I'll show here in a second. So recently using these concepts, or actually, let me actually back up. Let me first show originally what everything had done and what the vision was of it all. It's that from things, types, templates, and plugins, you can compose applications all together to build something kind of big and large. So this is like a personal website where you're attaching a feed to it and a marketplace. And these are all plugins that go on top of a thing type. You can edit them directly. You can actually like take a website and you can say, like change the data that goes into it. So you can duplicate entire sites without actually having to change the code. It opens the door to a no code editor. Let's see. And then something we built recently using these concepts is the create app, which is fully on the social contract. It saves projects, and then you have a documents, you have a document editor, and then inside these documents, you can embed widgets. So this is that same widget that I had earlier. And then you can take this documentation and you can publish it into its own widget that you can explore and have your own documentation in it. And then you can actually change the theming and the templating of it all. We'll save a theme. And I don't know if earlier you saw that blue bar that was at the top. Well, now if you see it, that blue bar is gone. So you can do, so using these concepts, really what I'm trying to show is that there's a lot of stuff that's being built. This is Ashraf over here, silking .near, who's really talented. He really like forged ahead with this templating thing, which is really cool. So there's this. We're building a calendar app, which I can't find. And then I mentioned earlier about Monaco editor. There's a lot of interesting stuff that you can do with it all. Yeah. I think through all of that, there's a lot of cool stuff. You can go into the BOS workspace, you can clone it, you can see all the applications that everybody is building, you can code on stuff together with us. There's also open calls for collaboration on BOS, DevHub, for component libraries, and then also plenty more, like a video app, form builders, all this type of stuff where there's a lot of code that's available. But would love to see somebody want to take it and build something really cool. So like we have live peer on BOS. We can actually watch some videos like keyboard cat and run into an error while you do it. And then there's a component library where you can actually use these components to build your own video apps. Cool, that's it.
No, that's awesome. That's another thing that I've like really enjoyed playing around with. I remember a couple months ago now, I dropped in on one of those office hours and just saw you guys messing around in the interface and just thought it was really fascinating, especially the like the camera thing. I still find that to be kind of a fun thing to happen in the gateway. Anybody else got questions, or Elliot, anything else you want to show off? Even just random stuff from boss hacks, like whatever people are working on, totally cool.
Yeah, I would say I'm just gonna drop the links in the chat. There's plenty of posts that are being made that talk about the projects that are going on right now. If people want to hop onto those.
Oh, cool. This is like a DevHub community. Well, I'll take a look. Yeah, awesome. So does anybody else have like?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do we have some time? Because I haven't registered for any presentation, but I have something to show here. Would
No,
it be
totally.
possible?
That's what it's
Okay.
for. Yeah.
Okay, so window. Yeah, here it is. So can you see my screen? Hello?
Yep. Sorry.
Okay, so I don't know if you have seen my app already or not. So what we created is a source code verification for Near. And like a week ago, we have implemented the direct import from GitHub. So for example, here's the app. It's in BOS right now. It supports both mainnet and testnet. So yeah, need some time to load the test.near.org. So let's go to the main page. And here you can see that we can import from GitHub. So for example, we can take any kind of repository that is written for Near. It supports both Rust and TypeScript. So for example, this fungible token. Here we can see the latest commits. We can choose from them. Also, we can choose the branch. After that, we press import. And here we can, we need to choose the entry point. So for example, in Rust, it's cargo.toml. For TypeScript, it's package.json. Then we press generate key. Then we go to gateway. It will proceed to our site because right now it is impossible to deploy directly from the BOS. So I need to connect with my main account that was used in BOS. Then I press compile. Here you can see it linked directly to this commit that I have chosen. It needs some time to compile. Yeah, it takes some time.
Is it like you are spinning up a Docker container and?
Yeah, it's in the Docker container. I'm using the container that is proposed for like reproducible code for Rust compilation. So here it was compiled, and now I have the button to deploy. I press deploy. Then I will be redirected to my wallet to sign the transaction. And here you can see that I'm signing the transaction that is setting this CID in the contract. So let's approve it. And now if we go to contracts, we would see that it was updated with my contract. Here's the deploy transaction, entry point, link to IPFS. This is how it looks like. And the link to this exact commit. So I can go to FT, go to source, go to lib.rs and see the code of the contract that I deployed. To prevent fraud, right now we have, as a security check, the WASM code check. So I checked the WASM code that was during the compilation and the WASM code from the near VM. Also, the deploy transaction. When I compile, I deploy and save the transaction, I encrypt it and store it to IPFS with everything. So if someone would like to forge this process and pre-compile something and try to verify it, he won't do it. He won't be able to do so. But right now, it's the compilation is centralized. Also, the security checks are centralized. But in the future, we would like to implement ZK proofs for these security checks, as well as decentralized compilation, where, as you already said, Docker image for the reproducible WASP code. So yeah, that was it.
It's great. And then you are like so you're taking the code and then spinning up the Docker container, injecting those with your container already have the near like all the
Yes.
Okay.
It has near SDK for JS compilation and also near SDK for not near SDK, it like compilation for Rust as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's really nice. I can see like in the future, like from Jutsu also, people can just type the code and then click a button and then it goes and compile and deploy.
Yeah, actually, it would be great if we will talk later about possible integration. We already have talked with NearBlocks, so when they will be going with their BOS components for NearBlocks, we will be integrated in their system as well.
Okay.
So it would be great if we can work together.
Just DM me, like send me a DM.
Yes, sure. I have your Telegram here.
Yeah, great job, Andrey. I think it's amazing for Near, especially verifying smart contracts. To be able to see smart contracts is, I don't see L1 being without it, right? Because decentralized free speech pretty much through the code.
Even imagine like every time people, especially when you go teach people about Near, and then if it is a 1 hour talk, like a 45-minute goes for just configuring Near. So like if we can integrate this compilation part from Jutsu, like a web IDE, then it is frictionless. So that means you can deploy your contract, you can deploy already your front end, and then everything is one place. So that's kind of
I think the magic stuff about the latest solution that we did with GitHub import, that you can import any public repo. For example, near examples, you don't need to actually write any code. You don't need to write any CLI commands. You just get the link, you just put it there, and you deploy it on your account. And then you go to Jutsu and generate your BOS components for it. So you actually don't need to code at all.
Even like imagine like if I could like create my contract, deploy it, and then create from the same place and then create a component. But the deployment part, like I don't want to build that container, all this complex part. So like from there, I could just like when I have the code, then I can inject that thing to your, if you have API service or something. So that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, great. I will write you in the end.
I have a question for Roshan. Like, is it like a free one or like just one? Because he's already here, so. But please ask question to I have a question later for Roshan regarding the indexer, or if anyone knows about it
now. Sorry, you actually cut out partially through your question, so I didn't hear part of it.
Sorry, I have a question about the near query indexer. So I think Roshan, he was working on that. So like, I don't know if he's still with us.
Roshaan, you there?
Probably is.
I guess not.
Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah, a lot of really interesting stuff to percolate over in this call. Thanks everybody for showing up. I had like one last question I was kind of having, but it seems like a lot of people have been thinking about this too. So we got like some hackathons coming on earlier this year, right? Like, so what do you think is like the most impactful tools? Like, I think Jutsu is like definitely one of them, just to hit people with for onboarding and kind of getting them excited to build something on BOS. You know, like what makes it more frictionless, and like what are the really good examples that you think are like powerful to new developers?
I can take it. So I run SF Node, one of the largest JavaScript community in the Bay Area. So like one of the things we used to do is we had a like if you still go, it's called nodeschool.io. So like where we had all these workshop, and then people can go and people can do it free form. And then in different city, we had like once a month, people will come, and then there will be mentor who they will hack and we'll just help them. So like some place where we can build this high quality workshop where people can do a bunch of different things. I think that will be great. So that was kind of the inspiration for the learning section for Jutsu, where I want it to be more like a guideline and then workshop, like where it will teach you a concept and then you will do something. I think that will be really helpful. Wallet. So I don't know if anyone here work with the wallet. So like, please make it simple. Make it like if you can have an API, then we can use to like instead of clicking 10 different times. I was trying to onboard someone a few days ago. It took me 20 minutes to kind of set up a wallet. So I know KeepOm is doing great job. So like hopefully KeepOm and Shardog, so we'll probably use them. But wallet is like a very big bottleneck at this moment to onboard new people. Okay. I don't want to spend 20 minutes to onboard someone in wallet, just figuring out the wallet.
Can I ask a question? Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
It's Sedu, your the collaborative code editor that you have. Is this something that can be spinned off into a product of its own? Because besides the fact that it's actually very good for collaborative processes, I'm actually thinking about it as an educational platform whereby there's a mentor that can help and lead new developers into learning how to build code or build on BOS and things like be a product on its own, and easy to onboard new developers to actually just learn how to build on it.
Yeah, you are so to answer your question, yes, we are thinking that along the line. It's more like a if you know about Replit. So Replit in the beginning they used to use in the school. So we want to be like we want to build something like that. So where you can have a community where like everyone can share the code. And another thing we'll do like that probably a lot of decentralization maximization people will not like. We want to introduce a concept of sandbox where if you don't have a wallet, but we want still people to have the experience to build and deploy something, and then when they're ready, that's a bigger commitment of like create a wallet.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. I'm working with Banyan, so like we are going to do a lot more education. So like if you're interested to do it, help us in your side of the world. So connect, and then love to collaborate.
Let us start the blockchain OS and BOS community so we can help amplify, not just amplify, also write content about it and push it out educationally, whereby people can easily assimilate what you are building. Just to mention, we're also currently trying to build Discover BOS. literally discoverboss.org is going to be for the community. Virtually a place whereby everybody can come from anywhere and know everything happening on BOS, from everything building on BOS on everything to what the DevHub are doing, to the opportunities, to the communities building on BOS. So it's more like a hub for people to just come on and they can easily know all the communities, all the developers, all the components, literally. So we're building that up to actually push it out to the community soon, and people can start just using it, literally.
Yeah, let's collaborate. So I would say like it will take all of us to build something really interesting. So it's not like a Jutsu or one way or other. So we just have to explore different ways and collaborate. So like and Max, I know how difficult it is to kind of bring everyone together because Roshaan is here. So I had a question, Roshaan. Like before that, like thank you, Max, for like bringing all people together. It's a very big job because I used to run a lot of community.
No, I'm so pleased about how many people showed up for this. Like this was awesome. One last thing I want to ask, like how often do people think we can do one of these calls? Like because I'm happy to put one together as often as people want it. We could do this bi-weekly or monthly or anything like that. So just shoot me a ping. I'm at on Telegram and I'm pretty responsive. So if anybody wants to just shoot me some messages, just please hit me up, and yeah, we'll try to keep this going because this was great. So and go ahead with the question for Roshaan.
I don't know if he's still.
I see his webcam.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for your great work with the indexer. So we are using in production. But my question now is, can we build the same thing to index testnet? Because we cannot use it until we have both testnet and mainnet, because we want to have people have the same experience. Do you have testnet?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. It's on the backlog, but a lot of people and teams have been wanting it. So we just have to kind of deploy it for testnet. Shouldn't be that big of a deal, but I'll let the team know that it's a priority. We have a meeting pretty soon, so.
Yeah, if you need help, like we can set up the database and stuff. Like we just want to have a great experience. Like we are testing the production indexer. It's working great. So like the search are probably 100 times faster. So like which is good. Yeah.
Good to know. Which one are you using? Are you using it for widgets, or are you?
Yeah. So we are indexing the widgets or the metadata so that when you search, like it can do full text search. Ideally, like if we could push that data to the external database, like more like a full text search favorable database, that will be great. Can we do that? Like can we use fetch to push data outside?
We haven't really enabled. The plan was to enable like webhooks, so you would be able to do that from within the indexer function. But at the moment, not really, just because of security implications at the moment. Yeah, also good to know. I'll note that. Also, can you telegram me the indexer you're using?
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, well, we're just over an hour, so I guess I'll probably wrap things up here for now. Again, please, if anybody wants to reach out, I'm so stoked that people showed up for this. I'm glad that people are excited, and I really want to keep that energy going as long as we can, because, it's a precious thing when you have momentum. Yeah, and I guess we'll just say bye for now then. One more time, thanks for showing up, and hope to see you all again soon.
Cheers. Ciao.
Thank you.